World Introvert Day is an opportunity for people worldwide to better understand and appreciate introverts. The first World Introvert Day was held in 2011, where it was established by a German psychologist and author named Felicitas Hain, who is also a member of the international affiliate of the American Psychological Association.
Heidi wrote the blog post titled, "Here's Why We Need a World Introvert Day," and on her website, Hypersonic. It was the article that kickstarted the gears, leading to the first ever World Introvert Day.
World Introvert Day is recognized as a day to better understand introverts around the globe. And this holiday is best celebrated not by throwing a party, but by canceling. It is the perfect day to celebrate introverts by leaving them alone and giving them the space they need.
Very interesting way to celebrate. Hey, it's World Introvert Day. Happy World Introvert Day. Let's celebrate. See you later.
Celebrate. Bye.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, it seems like a nice, you just get a break. Like you said, sometimes energy can be overwhelming, and perhaps that is what you need when you're an introvert, just a break. So we're going to talk more about this now and its psychological side by connecting online with a psychologist, Maizan Dianati. Good afternoon, Maizan. Are you there?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi there. Thanks for joining us here this afternoon. So we've kind of brushed upon this topic a little bit as to what an introvert, an extrovert is, but can you describe in a little bit more detail how it is that one can tell if they're an introvert?
Okay, so as humans, we all have our different characteristics that would contribute to our personality, and one of those determinants is whether we are introverted or extroverted. Yeah? And introvert people would characterize by they have more they feel more comfortable if they are in a minimally stimulated environment, because too loud, too vibrant, or too crowded spaces would exhaust them more, and they would need to recharge their energy later by spending time on their own, because that would be their preference.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, research by Dr. Marty Olson lately said that introverts are hereditary. Is that true?
Well, according to science, yes, but to some extent, because another factor, such as the environmental factors, would contribute as well to this introversion versus extroversion trait. For example, two extroverted parents can also have a kid who is introverted if the kid is continuously complimented for their ability to be able to be on their own for a long time, or for their ability to listen actively to other people. So if this introversion traits were complemented, or if they are being reprimanded for their extroversion behaviors continuously, they would tend to nurture their introversion side more.
So you're saying this can be also affected by the surroundings and behaviors?
Yeah, it can. Those two factors can contribute to this. So both genetical and also environmental factors.
Okay, I always believe that all our personalities are formed by two. I mean, obviously, we're born a certain way, but the environment that grew up in, you always heard the phrase product of our environment. What sort of environment can breed introvertism?
As before, because people really behave based on the consequences. So it's like a conditioning learning. So if someone being complimented or give good credits, given good credits by showing their introversion sides, they would naturally develop or continue to perform all of those introversion traits more compared to the extroversion traits. But it's vice versa as well. So if the kid and also later the teenagers always being credited for, oh, you're very fun because you're very outspoken, very assertive. So they would initially develop or nurture their extroversion side more compared to the introversion one.
Is this from environment, do you mean like a home environment or a school or both?
Both. So it can be all of the significant environments that play a huge role on this people's development.
Yeah. Okay, because it's kind of weird because I always feel like with me, I'm always trying to encourage my kid to be more of an extrovert. Just like, you know, first year in school, first grade, you always say, hey, try to ask questions or try to make friends. I'm trying to think of an example where we would reward someone for being an introvert. I don't recall ever doing that. Do you have an example?
That's why we have World Introvert Day.
World Introvert Day.
Because we reward the introverts for being slightly different. But here's a myth that everybody seems to believe, that introverts are shy. So can you, as an expert, debunk that myth? In what way are introverts not shy? Because like we took the personality tests, and I'm an introvert, Paul's an introvert, but we're still functioning individuals who can still work professionally in certain environments. So it shouldn't be true that we're actually shy. So what is it that makes an introvert so different, and people seem to think that they're just hermits?
Yeah, it's entirely different, because being introverted is being who you are. So it's part of our characteristic. So in the end, people who are introverted are still able to have fun, to be cool, like those extroverted people, because in the end, if the introverted people enjoy or have the motivations or feel comfortable in their social environmental situations, they would be able to be who they are, to express themselves as loudly as the other people can. But it's just like maybe in terms of the intensity and the frequencies that would contribute more into those quietness or loudness, because as what I've mentioned before, people who are introverted would tend to be exhausted easily compared to the extroverted when they are in a loud environment. So maybe after a few hours, they would tend to be they would take part as a listener more compared to the talker, and it's because of that.
Interesting. So I have something here, because we were just talking off air about the social anxiety disorder, and then there's of course this introverts. And I was talking, and then I was remembering my young days when I was getting very anxious when I'm in the social settings. And growing up, as I was getting a little bit older and older and older, I think I got better there. But can you tell us if there's any difference between the social anxiety disorder and being an introvert?
Yeah, so again, like introverted is a characteristic. So it is what defines who you are. But social anxiety is a condition. Yeah? So to put it simple, maybe we can use example like this. So being introverted means that you are leaving the party earlier because you already had enough fun with these people, and you prefer to have some alone time with yourself because the situations have already become overwhelming in some way. But having social anxiety means that you are leaving the party earlier because you cannot enjoy the party at all, since you are continuously thinking that people around you are continuously giving you some negative judgment about the way you look, the way you talk, or the way you behave.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, social anxiety disorder, this affects you even before the party. It affects you days before the party because you're already thinking, oh my gosh, this party's coming up. What am I going to do when I'm there? On the way there, you've already got all this anxiety built up, where I believe in an introvert's case, they will still go. They won't be stressed out about it. But once they've had enough, they had enough. Like, I need my alone time now kind of thing, right? So if this is the case then, and we do know that introversion is basically kind of a personality trait, is this something that can be changed if somebody decides they want to train themselves to be more of an extrovert? Is this something that is possible even biologically? And if so, how?
Yeah, well, according to the science, yes, but again, to certain degrees. So introversion and extroversion, it's not entirely separated things. They are not separated, so they are actually lie in a spectrum. So people who are introverted may be more dominant on this side, and people who are extroverted are more dominant on this side. But of course, in life, there is a certain situation that push us all like out of the boundaries that we would be more comfortable at. Yeah? So for example, even introverted need to do some social thing such as business networking, public speaking, or even initiating a date with someone. This situation pushed us to go beyond the limit. Yeah? As introverts, sorry, I use us because I'm an introverted as well. So we go there for some time because we know it is necessary to go there. But it's not going to last for a long time. I mean, like for a consistent amount of time, because it would go back again to our preference because it's part of our characteristic. And the same again for extroverted, they can do it. For example, like during pandemic, isolation, they need to stay inside. They cannot socialize, so they have to nurture more the introversion side. That's why they can be like that. But maybe now, since the situation already go back to normal, they would return again to their preferable styles, preferable traits.
Hence, I found the pandemic so refreshing because I get time alone at home, just ordering pizza, just watching. It's so refreshing. I mean, I've enjoyed.
It did have its benefits.
I mean, I've enjoyed the last couple of years so well. I don't think my friends have been doing so well though, but I've been enjoying it so much. But because today is World Introverted Day, right? I wanted to say and ask your opinion as a fellow introvert and as an expert, what makes an introvert super cool?
Well, of course, there are loads of benefits of being introverted. First of all, when introverts talk with other people, they tend to be the listeners instead of thinking of how to respond more. So they naturally are better or great listeners compared to the extroverted ones. And then they can function independently more. So that's why less amount of supervision would be needed. And then as introversions, maybe they can also be more observant about the things that's happening around them. So they are more cautious in terms of thinking how to act or how to behave in front of others. So the decisions that they make tend to be more cautious compared to the extroverted fellows.
Okay, so knowing that now, would you say that it's still possible for an introvert to be a good leader?
Yes, of course. So if we have to look at some distinguished leaders out there, many of them are introverts. Take example of Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett. They are all introverts. And yeah, like if these introverted people can enhance those good sides of them, they can achieve like loads of good things in their life. But of course, like we cannot only survive by like only nurturing our introverted sides, right? So sometimes like some kind of trainings to be able to speak to other people, to be able to maintain some connections, as what extroverted do may be needed. But first of all, I think like emphasizing on the benefits that all of these introverts have would be one of the important key to achieve like greatness, especially as leaders.
Okay, so I guess Elon Musk wouldn't fall into that list.
I think he would be.
You think he's an introvert?
He's not a very social person.
You're right about that.
He's very calculative.
He's good on social media, that's about it.
He's very calculative. He's good on social media because they're not people he's talking to. It's the screen he's staring at.
So listen, back to this trying to figure out what we are exactly. Some are introverts, some are extroverts, some are introvert extroverts. There are many tests that we can find online to do these. I did it myself, Kai's done one, and most recently, Ranga just did one. How accurate are these tests that we take and what they reflect about ourselves and our personalities?
Well, it depends on the sources of the test. If it's published by like a psychological assessment, let's go productions, like for example, like MBTI, it can be something that would be accurate because it was developed through research, right? But if it's just like quizzes, such in BuzzFeed, things like that, it can be questionable. It can be questionable. So it depends on the sources. But if you would have, if you would like to have like more accurate representation of that, maybe thorough examination by psychologists or psychiatrists might be needed for that.
And in addition to that, why is it a benefit for us to know what personality type that we are?
Okay, so the benefits, I think it would be relating to how to enhance your potential as a person and to be able to anticipate things. Yeah? So, for example, like if we know that we are introverted, like we would know the common pitfalls that would happen to people with introverted personalities. So knowing about them would help us to anticipate worse things to happen. So, for example, introverted people are likely to have to have more intense depressions once you've got into depression, because since we have the tendencies to keep everything to ourselves and maybe process things internally instead of talking about it to other people, this would lead into repression, and these things would cause depressions to be even worse. Yeah? So by knowing that you're introverted, maybe it would be beneficial for this. Yeah? So in the end, you know what are the things that would be the pitfalls of your personality, and you can help yourself to build some skills or build some kind of boundaries that would help you in order to avoid the things that would commonly happen to your personality.
Yeah, can afford those triggers.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really good because just to be aware, perhaps it would help in things like job placement and career choices as well.
And how to survive 101.
Indeed. Maizan, thank you so much for your time. It's been really great to have more information and
Thank
insight
you.
into
Thank you,
this matter. And happy World Introvert
Introverted
Day.
For all of
Yes,
us
everyone
three
introverted.
introverted.
From one introvert to another, to another, to
Oh my
another.
goodness. Introvert 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's been so interesting, right? So I realized that if I have to do a full day of work, full day of talking, that is a total of 9 hours of talking, like I'd do the morning show, radio, and the afternoon show, I'd come home like, I don't want to speak anymore.
Yeah, yeah.